Hey everybody, I'm actually here in the greenhouse, and as you can tell, we have the entire greenhouse insulated. Sheldon just needs to make a couple of changes there with the wood stove, and then that will be in good shape. But the acoustics are completely different in here. I could record a song and it would be fantastic. But I had my friend Katie out here, and I didn't do any videotaping because I just really wanted to get work done. So often taking you guys with us does slow us down, and it's always worth it. But I've actually had a really terrible weekend health-wise. I've had a really difficult health journey in the last 3-4 weeks. A lot more seizures, a lot more sleeping, and just feeling terrible. And so with doing that, I have had to just simplify. And so as you can tell, there's not nearly as many videos coming up because I just don't have the energy when I'm finally able to do something. There are other things that need to get done, like the garden or taking care of the animals or whatever. So it's been pretty disappointing to see my health backslide as much as it has. But I continue going as much as I can. Obviously, you see, like, I'm trying to get work done when I can. I'm trying to continue moving towards our dreams and our plans. And so I had my friend Katie out here today. We did all the insulating. We started with some of the poly, and we're gonna wrap this thing sometime this week, depending on when I have energy, and I'm still working. So we're gonna time that one all out. And according to that, we'll have this thing wrapped. Then the next step is to actually board it all up. And so that is exciting. We are so close to getting to that point, and then we can just paint it, and then you'll get a really good taste of what this place is going to be like. So sorry for not being around like I used to be. I really have wanted to. I've wanted to share a lot of different things with you, but I just didn't have the camera on me. We've been really excited to have the bull here, and I only dropped that video. I actually dropped that video a lot later than when it actually happened because, again, I just didn't have the opportunity to edit as I usually would have. But in saying all of that, I am trying to still get the information out to you. You know, we served my brother, and we went out there, 12 of us, and we just worked in his garden for a couple hours. And we have been working on our gardens and just growing food, growing animals, and doing life. So this looks awesome. Today though, I'm to that point where all of my squash, all of my peas, everything is kind of getting to that point where it needs its stabilizers. It needs some kind of trellis. It needs something that these things can attach to. And I told you I wanted to grow vertically a lot more this year. So I have packed my garden full, but I don't have that vertical support yet. So I'm going to be heading into the bush. I told you months ago that the trees that we cut down here were actually put off to the side so that I would be able to use some of those trees for the trellises. And so that is what I'm going to go do now. Sheldon and I took a minute last week to go and look and see what we had for length and that kind of stuff. And we did find some, so now it's just up to me to go and drag it out there and drag it back to the yard and get it ready so that we can have our garden growing up vertically. So here is the pile of logs. We came here and we sorted a couple of things out. So here we're going to use these for the beans and the peas. And then I have some really long ones here, and these are the ones that I'm going to come and grab right now. I'm going to try and drag them to the yard by hand. And these are going to be helping. They're going to be the trellis for the spaghetti squash. So we're going to build that this evening.
So I wanted to keep this project as simple as possible, and I kind of wanted to be my own hero. I wanted to do this myself. And so I started working on it, but then, you know, it got a little too big. It was a tall structure, so I had to get Sheldon to come and just help me with lifting things up. And yeah, I needed some of his strength. It was hard to drill in those screws at certain angles. So here what you're seeing is Sheldon and I, we are literally just trying to figure out what are the lengths, what are we going to do, how are we going to make it work, because honestly, I didn't draw anything out. I didn't pre-measure nothing. I just took what I had and I started working with it. So as you can see here, you know, I've got this massive arch, almost looks like a teepee. And Sheldon actually suggested, why don't we do that? But no, I wanted to go ahead. I wanted to make a nice long area for everything to grow up on, and I wanted to make it a proper arch that we would be able to walk through it. So here we are working together, trying to create the structure and also trying to make it sturdy, because man, this thing wanted to fall down all the time. So it took a bit. I finally put stakes into the ground. I figured maybe that was going to help keep the structure sturdy. And with just bracing it one more time at the top and the stakes, it seemed like the project was really coming along well.
So I've come this far. I have just taken all the raw wood and just screwed it all together, as you saw, and it seemed quite wobbly, but it just seems to be getting a little bit stronger all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to string some rope across here as well, so just that that the vines, so we're looking at these little tendrils, these vines, they have something to grip onto, and then they will climb up to the top of the arch. But the arch looks really good. We can walk underneath it, no problem. There will be things that we'll be able to grow in here, and we'll still be able to walk through it. That's why I made it as high and as wide as I did, so that we can still walk through it when we are still doing chores and working here in the garden. But then the vegetables can still grow on the trellis. So that is it. And we'll work on the beans. I'm just gonna make it very simple. I'm just gonna make tiny little tripods, set them up in the middle of the beans, let them climb up on there, and be done with it. Was having a last feeding for the night, and just wanted to show you beans will have an opportunity to grow up that. We're going to add some rope to that, and we are going to add a few more. I'm probably going to add 2 more on this row, and then we will add a few more in the other parts of the garden. But this is going to help the garden to grow upwards and onwards. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And before I let you go, I want you to remember you might have some limitations, but that does not mean you're limited. See you next time.